Hello everyone, it's Silvia. Welcome back to my channel. You haven't seen me a lot lately, and the reason is because I've been sick. I still am actually. I've been sick for almost a month now. I've had some respiratory virus that really is attached to me, really cannot go. I can't seem to shake it off. It is partially my fault because during this time I kept on going out for runs, I kept on working out, I kept on doing everything as if I were perfectly fine, and obviously that has consequences. There's no two ways around that. So in any case, I am trying to film as much as possible. All of the videos for my members go out as scheduled. It's just that my voice sounds like this, which is admittedly not very pleasant, but I haven't received any complaint yet, so maybe it's okay. And for these videos, I'm definitely going to try and make them shorter because I just cannot, my voice just after half an hour, it just is not there anymore. So we'll see how it goes for today. I really wanted to talk to you today because I have accumulated in the meantime a few decks that were either arriving, on the mail or has been generously gifted to me as well. And one deck or two decks I've actually acquired, and I'm really happy to say that it has been a really great month, as opposed to, let's say, the month of April, which has been catastrophic. I've had so many people reaching out and saying that they've felt a lot of astrological influences as well. Hopefully, the Mars Leo / Pluto in Aquarius opposition is going to be resolved by the 17th of June or thereabouts. So we air signs might be able to see some kind of an improvement from the second part of June. Is to hope. And we'll see. I mean, it's always nice to feel like you're not alone whenever you're going through some type of struggling. So before we talk about all of the new decks that joined my collection recently, I just wanted to say that for the month of June, I still have renewed my partnership with Otter Spirit. And so I just wanted to show you the combination that I've chosen to talk about for the month of June. So Otter Spirit is an amazing company. It is based in Monterey, California. And they always, I've talked about them a number of times, so they release these products which are absolutely amazing, and we're talking about bracelets, necklaces and earrings. And as you can see from the website, you can shop by your zodiac sign or by intention or by chakra or by gemstone in specific. I have been generously sent 3 intention packs for the month of April, May and June. And so for the month of June, we're going to talk about the intention, actual intention and creativity pack. So when we click on the shop by intention, we'll be going to the menu that shows you all of the packs that you can shop from. And in my case, I'll definitely go into creativity because I believe creativity and intention are actually paired up together. Creativity and intuition, let's say. So in this case, as you can see, you can choose between different sizes as well. So there's smaller stones or larger stones. One thing to remember that is very important to me, and I verified with them, is all of these stones, precious stones and gems have been ethically sourced. And there's also something else to say. As you can see here, for example, from the Intuition bracelet pack, they're very nice because they come with an otter. So there's a charm that is linked to every single one of these bracelets. And there's the incision of a little otter head on it, which is very, very cute. Now the one that I received is this one here. So it's called the Divine Feminine Bracelet Pack, and I'm going to show it to you later. And it is now on sale, so if I were you, I would definitely grab one of these because they're absolutely amazing. The quality is fantastic. They always select AA or even AAA gemstones, which means that it's the level of quality that they offer to you. And they also come with a certificate that says these are authentic stones. And as you can see, either the gemstones can be either mini or regular, and the bracelet size can be either small, medium or large. And when it comes to the stones in specific, we got labradorite, amethyst and moonstone. So let's have a look at the actual Divine Feminine bracelet pack that I've been sent, because I'm going to show you the actual bracelets. Okay, so it's these three here, as you can see. Zooming in even further, and it's also because there is still a little bit of sunlight coming through the blinds, which is very funny because it looks like my hands are glowing. Look at that, but they're not. It's actually the sun. So as I said, the Divine Feminine. So for the Divine Feminine or Intuition pack, what you will receive is the amethyst. I am letting go of fear and embracing peace. As you can see, the intention is intuition and balance. The zodiac signs associated to this stone traditionally are Aquarius, Pisces, Capricorn and Aries. And the chakras is always the third eye or the crown chakra. So really, really beautiful, by the way. You can tell the quality. It's just absolutely amazing. The way in which the care has been done over these stones. They're absolutely gorgeous. And then we're moving on to the labradorite one. So the labradorite, which is, by the way, coincidentally, labradorite is one of my favorite stones of all time. I really, really love the colors of labradorite, and it varies a lot. And I don't know if you have a piece of labradorite, but you will notice that. So this one is a AA, and it comes with the affirmation, I am the change I want to see in the world, which is very famous, of course. The intention is intuition. The zodiac signs associated are Pisces, Sagittarius, Aquarius and Scorpio. And again, we're talking about the chakras of the third eye and the crown. By the way, the third eye and the crown chakra are very important when it comes to the intention. You will know this if you go to yoga, but also if you have any have done any kind of studies on chakras, you will know that obviously your intention resides within these two chakras. And so I'm going to wear this one as well. As you can see, they're very easy to slide in and out. And then we got the last but not least, the moonstone, which is really beautiful as well. Very high quality. This is AAA grade. I am guided by grace, and the intention again is intuition. The zodiac signs are Cancer, Libra, Virgo and Scorpio. And again, we have the association with the same, obviously being it the intention pack, we have the same association when it comes to chakras, which is the third eye and the crown. And there you go. So you have this really beautiful combo of these really beautiful three colors, and obviously you can change them if you want the white in the middle, for example. It's up to you, of course, but absolutely love them. And just so you can appreciate this even more, because I have a partnership for them. If you use my link, which is in the description box below, and at the checkout use my promotional code, which is Silvia20, you will get a 20% discount, which is amazing already. And I just wanted to know that it is something that you're doing also for the environment as well, because Otter Spirit has this amazing initiative that for every single product they sell, they donate $1 for every single product. They donate $1 to charity organizations taking care of preservation of marine life, in specific of otters. And you all know how tarot readers and tarot collectors absolutely we love otters, because we find their spirit to be absolutely amazing. But let's have a look at the tarot decks that came new into my collection in the last couple of weeks. So I have a couple of presents, a couple of decks that I bought myself. Let's start with the gifts that I received. I'm so very excited and so very grateful. In specific, because one of them was completely unknown to me. I just received a notification from my Parcel Locker, and a package had arrived, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, but I wasn't expecting anything. And so I went to the Parcel Locker and I opened the parcel, and it was this deck here, which is absolutely amazing, coming from as a gift from one of my members. Thank you so much. This is a deck that I had on my wish list for a while, and the only reason why I wasn't actually buying the deck was because of the shipping cost. So I don't think that anyone, oh, I actually did my research and there was absolutely no retailer in Australia that was keeping this deck in stock. It's an indie deck, it's a Magical Nature Tarot. And I would have had to buy from either the UK or the US, and you know, the problem with that is obviously currency exchange problems, but also the shipping costs, which are becoming more and more prohibitive. So this is the creators of the Spirit Collective. This deck is actually quite famous because it has been printed on a cardstock that is completely recycled. This is my understanding of it. If you know something else, then please let me know. And I'm really trying to avoid the sun, but I have this feeling that the sun, because it's moving obviously in the sky, it's actually going up. And so if I do this, in any case, let's see how it goes. Really stoked. Yes, it is a very special feeling to the card. I don't know how else to explain this. I know that there's a lot of people that don't really appreciate the tactile feeling to this deck. And let's face it, when it comes to appreciating a deck and getting to experience the deck, I feel that the tactile experience is just as important as the visual one. Because obviously you relate to the deck, it is something that it's in your hands, you know, you have to shuffle with it, you have to fan the deck out when you're picking a card, you have to look at the cards, you have to handle them. There's no two ways around that. Whenever it comes to reading with the deck, but also just having a look at the cards even right now, you will have this feeling towards the cards. And obviously it all comes down to the stock of the card, it comes down to the finish of the card, it comes down to probably the grammage, so how heavy or how thin it is, the bounce of the cards. I have to say, I can feel the difference. I don't say that it feels like just like any other deck, because that is not the truth. I can definitely feel the difference, but at the same time, I am not turned off by the different feel that this deck is giving me. And I also know that there's a lot of us out there that absolutely love this deck. I know that Annette from a Project Refine Life, for example, has been using this deck a lot. She posts some amazing monthly wrap-up videos, and she talks about all of the decks that she's been using during that month, and this is very much often present in her videos. I also know that this deck has been realized in a very specific way, because I don't know if you can tell, but basically it's about you know, paintings, but then also cut out pieces of papers that have been printed and then attached or glued onto another paper and then scanned and then, you know, produced as an image for the deck. So there's a lot of artistic effort that goes behind the creation of this deck. I've only just received it yesterday, so I haven't even tried to read with this deck, and I'm thinking about a couple of pairings that I might be able to do. But to be honest, for the time being, I haven't used it yet, and so I just wanted to show it to you. And I also wanted to ask you, do you have this deck? What do you feel about it? What do you think about it? Do you use it? How do you use it? Do you use it in pairings? And if so, which ones would you recommend? So it is always very interesting for me to approach a new deck and have a look at the various ways in which I can incorporate it into my practice. And I am so very grateful that I received this one, because I actually really did have it in my wish list for a while now, and now I've got it. So I'm really excited to work with it. So another deck that has been gifted to me, sent as a gift to my Parcel Locker, is the Voices of the Souls Oracle by Isabel Sarf, and illustrations are by Daphne Sabine. I have talked about the twin deck to this one, the Cries of the Souls, a number of times, because honestly that was probably the biggest surprise of my first 6 months in 2025. I have been talking about that sister deck to this one a number of times, because of the impact that the cards, and especially would say even more than the cards, the guidebook have on me, and I would have to say I'm really looking forward, because someone sent me an email saying, by the way, I can send this deck to you if you're interested. And I said, oh yeah, of course, why not? I mean, who am I to say no to a gift? Of course, thank you so much, one of my lovely subscribers. And I have to say I haven't opened it yet because I received it again just yesterday. And I just wanted to film the unboxing of this deck together with you and see what my reactions will be. Now, there's something to say. I have done some research, and from my understanding, this is the lighter side of the two. So whilst the Cries of the Soul is let's say a shadow work related deck, this is definitely a light work related deck. And so I'm really curious to see whether it has as much of an impact on me as the other one does. And this one is from a couple of years ago, by the way, although it has been released by the same publisher, quite obviously, Rockpool. So let's have a look. So this one does have different colors as well, which doesn't really surprise me because obviously they want to make something different. What I'm going to do, rather than going and jumping directly into the guidebook, I'm just going to have a look at the cards and have a look at some of them, because honestly, when I posted the first impression of the Cries of the Soul, I wasn't particularly shocked by the cards, just the cards. When we're talking about just the cards, in order to avoid the sun, I'm just gonna do like this so you can actually see the cards without a rays of light. So as I was saying, the cards were not the thing that really shocked me. It was when I started actually going deeper into the meanings and looking at the guidebook that really shocked me, because the cards had a very, I would say, positive, take on what we would usually use as a shadow work element, but they had a positive take on the sentences at the back, and I don't see sentences on the back in this deck either. So what I'm thinking is that there is something that is slightly different. So in the Cries of the Soul, you will have the keyword, of course, but you will also have a small sentence at the bottom of the card. And when you look at that and if you pair up the image, let's say the keyword and the sentence, you will have a slightly more positive concept or vibe than if you look at the guidebook. When you do look at the guidebook, it's actually shocking, because what you thought was something relatively positive is actually incredibly powerful. And if not necessarily negative, because I would never say something like that, it does have an incredible impact on you. And it talks about some pretty intense concepts. Let's put it this way. So because this one doesn't have the sentences at the bottom, I'm just really curious to see now the guidebook, because I am really curious to see whether it will have the same type of impact on me or not. And let me just shuffle quickly. I'm just going to pull one card, and then we're just going to go into the guidebook and see what the associations are with that specific card, which is basically what I've done for the Cries of the Soul. And that's where the bang, that's where my mind exploded. So, okay, that's enough. Let's just pick one card, and I'll go with this one. Let's have a look at what it is. And it is Respect. Okay, really powerful card. And it's number 26. So let's go to number 26 here. Number 16, 21, 25, and 26. Respect your soul. So I'm going to put it here to avoid the sun. Respect yourself. You're being subjected to something at the moment, something unrelated to your needs and expectations. It's something beyond your limits, which is having a negative influence on your self-esteem. Please respect yourself. Dare to say no. Dare to listen to your needs and limits. At the moment, I am manifesting myself to you through emotions. I am making you feel strong emotion, but this is to make you react. I want you to say no to situations that are toxic for you, so you may create a new space for novelty and innovation. I invite you to leave something that isn't right for you. Listen to your emotions and listen to me. Even you have negative feelings at first. Their messages is more than positive. Trust in them and trust in me. Okay, Okay, my mind is not exploding right now, but I have to say this still is surprising to me because it is not necessarily a hug message that I was kind of expecting. Your spirit guides, today we invite you to connect to the present moment. You may be dwelling too much in the past, yes, or in your plans for the future. This creates controlling energies and connects you to your mind. Just be here and now. The more you live in the present moment, the more you move forward towards positively in everything that matters to you. Today you may feel like you have no intuition or that you aren't receiving clear messages through your spiritual tools such as your oracles. So let me just change the... Okay. There is a reason for this. The point is for you to be here and now. Apologies for the light, it's just really betraying me today. But then again, you know what? It's been like this for 6 weeks. I mean, every time I'm trying to do something, it just goes, it's a disaster. There's a reason for this. There is a reason for this, really? I'm all here. Just let me know. The point is for you to be here and now. Yeah, I am. I'm here. I'm now. So breathe and open your eyes and your beautiful heart. Just live in the moment. You will be in this energy for the next 5 months. What? No. You will then receive many inner revelations for a great outer transformation. No. 5 months like this? Are you kidding me? No, absolutely not. No. Okay. No. Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. I really don't need 5 months of this shit. So no. Okay, well, that was something. Apologies for that. I really, so it is a beautiful deck. I'm really, if you have this deck, let me know, because I'm really tempted to say, are you kidding? You cannot tell someone, and that is something that as a tarot reader, I will tell you this, you cannot tell someone, especially when you're telling that they're going through something, you cannot tell them that this is going to last 5 months. First of all, when it's related to timing, the cards really refuse to give you such a long time frame. Whenever it's about months, you say a couple of months. When you do want to establish a time frame with the court cards, for example, you can do that because pages mean days, nights mean weeks, and when it comes to the queens, it means months, but never more than 4 or 5 months. When it comes to the kings, we always say I pull another card because 6 months is way too far in order for the energies not to shift. We never know what's going to happen within 6 months, and that is something that I always tell my students. If someone is asking you, only read cosmic energies, like you can do a Wheel of the Year reading for the 12 months ahead or 6 months ahead. That's just as far as I can go. But I will never tell someone this is gonna go on for 5 months, because honestly, that is literally just telling someone, do you know what, just spend 5 months in bed, because that's probably what you need to do, and there's nothing else you can do, and it's not even your fault, but all of this is going on in the background. You just have to accept it. So I apologize for my reaction, but the cries of the soul shocked me for good reasons, because it was really a massacre, but it was a massacre that had an intention and manifested something positive at the end, and really told me to pick myself up and get back on track. But I don't know whether, and maybe I just picked up the wrong card, and if you have this deck, that's why I'm asking you. Let me know what you think about the voices of the souls. But if it is like this, I can only see myself using it a bunch of times, because it's no one would ever do a personal work on ourselves to be told something that negative. I don't know, I hope that I'm expressing myself in a way that is resonating with any of you. If it does, please let me know. But in any case, I'm really curious to see if you have this deck and you use it, and if it showed to you, if it came up with other cards like that, and if it's something that is just one card, perhaps it's just one card. But this is a good introduction for the next deck, because as I was saying, problems after problems and issues after issues, at the end of the day you just move on to a different level of not caring. And when life becomes incredibly complicated, you just need some comic relief, or at least that's what I need. And so I actually bought a deck that I'm really hoping is gonna provide me with that, and it's this one here. It's the Inner Fucking Peace. So I apologize for the swearing, but I really feel like I really needed this deck. And I've had a look at a couple of cards, not all of them, but the ones that came up, in the website where I purchased it from. This is a very small deck, but it's got 60 cards, and I thought, oh, okay, that's an excellent number. 60 cards is about 2 months worth of daily pulls, so that is enough. So I would say long enough a time to be able to give it a bit of a rotation. And so what I'm going to do, I'm literally going to pull a card out of this deck for every morning and see where it gets me, and see what the results will be. There is a card that is really stubborn, it doesn't want to come out, but this is just the introduction. So this is by Peter Popper Press, and so it's not from one of the usual publishing companies that we're used to. Let me just see, because it's got, okay, so it's you have writings on one side and then image and writing on the other side. And I'm really excited about this one because it is supposed to be a bit of a tongue-in-cheek kind of deck. Okay, yeah, I can see that immediately. There you go. So obviously it is one of those novelty decks, and sometimes you've seen these ones. There's a heap of these ones that you can find either at your local metaphysical store or your online shop, and they're very cheap. This one was only $10 Australian, so it's about $6.5 US. So obviously for me it was just it was probably an impulse buy, because I was buying, we have a mid-year sale here in Australia on Amazon, and my husband has been buying a lot of machinery out of Amazon, and so we were like, okay, well, let's get something else in. And I was looking at this one, I thought, okay, well, this one is probably going to help me out, and it's going to refresh the energies and the vibes that I'm going through lately. Drop and give me Zen, absolutely, yeah. Wax on, wax off, yeah. Take a hint from a sloth, the power of meow instead of the power of now. I really, silence your inner critic. Really love this deck. Really, really cute. I mean, there's, it's one of those decks, it's square, so obviously it's not your traditional tarot or oracle deck. It is rather thin, if I may say. I don't really mind it because it's not like I'm going to be shuffling this a lot. I'm just going to pick a card. Hakuna Moscato. I'm just going to pick a couple of cards. And you know what? Because I picked a card from the Voices of the Soul, and that basically destroyed my humor, my outlook for the next 5 months, apparently. I'm just going to do something nice for myself, and I'm going to pick a card from this deck and see if I can put a put a bit of a remedy to that, and see what instead something that makes me laugh. And I'm also curious to see the sentences on the back, because obviously I'm expecting them to be elaborating on the message on the front of the card. So let's have a look. I'm just gonna pick without looking. I'm picking a card, and let's see this one. Highly meditated. Okay, highly meditated. Well, do a lot of meditation. This doesn't particularly feel like it's a tongue-in-cheek kind of card, but let's have a look at what it says in the back. With a license to chill. Okay, absolutely, absolutely. And this is a card that I'm pulling for myself, but also pulling it for you guys. So highly meditated with a license to chill. Really excited about this deck. I am going to make it a point to pull a different card every day, and just maybe journal about it. And now moving on to a couple of decks. One has been a bit of an ordeal to get it here in Australia. I honestly, even now, I'm still pinching myself because I can't believe it. And I'm talking about this deck here. It's the Tempest Tarot deck. So I know that you guys in the US have seen and played and used this deck for months now. But as always, when it comes to US games and Llewellyn, in Australia, they just wait 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 6 months. Even when they do release a deck in Australia, which in this case it will be released on the 30th of July, so we still have a couple of months to go. But even when it's actually released in Australia, it doesn't mean that it's physically in Australia. It takes another 3 weeks, if not longer, for them to actually ship the stock onto Australia. So realistically speaking, if you're in Australia and you don't use some kind of a forwarding service from the US, you will be able to get this deck probably in August, which is ridiculous. But then again, it is the policy that is chosen by US Games and Llewellyn, and sometimes even Los Carabel. So I'm not making any kind of differences here. It's many publishers that do that. And I know that it's not just Australia. It's pretty much anywhere outside the US. South America has got these kind of problems as well. And when it comes to Europe, I believe that you guys also get delays in receiving US Games and Llewellyn decks. But at least you get Los Carabel decks almost live. In any case, we all have our problems. In Australia, we have Blue Angel and Rockpool, and we can get them as soon as they get published. So, you know, there's a balance to that, I guess. So I had to get this deck out of the US, shipped to a forwarding service, and then I got it here. But it just probably because the parcel was really tiny, and it got here in like 2 weeks instead of the usual 3.5, which made me really happy because it means that I can talk about this deck. And let me just see, I don't want to ruin it. I see that it's a tuck box, but it's got a slightly different kind of flap here, so I don't want to ruin it with my X-Acto knife. And let's have a look. So this one, if you're not familiar with this deck, I just automatically assume that you are, but if you're not familiar with this deck, this is a deck that was originally published as an indie deck a couple of years ago, and by Maisie Bristol, and then it has been picked up mass market by US Games, as I said. I don't have the indie edition. I wish I did. I know that it might still be available. Actually, you know what, scratch that, I'm not entirely sure. I know that at the beginning of the year 2025, it was still available indie because they had not released the mass market edition yet, but now that they have, I don't think that it's still available indie, and I don't necessarily know what the differences are between the two. So maybe it's exactly the same deck, and obviously this is the mass market, which makes it a lot more affordable. It does come with a little white book that doesn't look like it's got some prints for the cards, which is fine because we have the cards themselves. On the other hand, I can see already that we've got, for example, when we look at the major arcanas, we've got the upright and the reversed, meaning the zodiac sign associated to that, the imagery and symbols. And that's very good. But when it comes to the minor arcana, we do have upright, reverse, and imagery. It would have been nice to have a decan walk reference, so the astrological references to this as well. But there are decks that are made, you know, with that in mind, and decks that are not, and it's totally fine because tarot was not created to be an instrument for a decan walk. It just became with the association later on, but tarot is in and by itself a tool that has been created with its own dignity and its own practice itself. So I'm just I'm just doing a lot of work with clients. So I've introduced a new service that I'm doing for clients, in which I'm basically doing a bit of a study on their day of birth, and I'm trying and find all of the associations and doing a study also related to tarot and astrological associations. For example, I've done that for someone born on the 15th of December, which is the Sagittarius 3, when we look at decans, and so the card and the minor in the suit of wands associated to that is the 10 of wands. And so I've done a deep dive study on the 10 of wands, and it's been really so much fun for me and the client as well. So it's something that I've actually enjoyed doing, and it's something that I'm thinking, if there's any other, even members that request that, it's going to be so much fun to do that. And so I'm paying attention to these kind of things, whether there's a tarot decks that show you the deck and book or not. But as I said, not a deal breaker, just an add-on and a nice to have. So obviously, being called the Tempest Tarot deck, it is associated with the ocean, the sea. As you can see, creatures of the sea, creatures of the ocean, really piratey kind of vibes as well, which I really like and appreciate. When it comes to the colors, I would say it is very minimal. The color palette is very unique in the sense that each and every card looks like they've chosen a combination of black and white and just one color. I could be wrong, but this is something that I've seen so far. And or maybe just a combination of really light colors like this one. And it is, I'm not gonna go as far as to say that it's minimalist, but it's not as busy. It's not a busy deck, let's put it this way. It's not a busy deck, and I'm absolutely fine with that, because I personally think that whenever there is something related to the ocean, oceans to me, I've lived by the ocean for 8 years of my life here in Sydney, in Manly, and the ocean is something that you breathe it, you can smell the ocean even from inside your house. You can hear it, well, depending on how far you are, but I could hear it at night. You can, when you go towards the ocean, it feels like there is this really powerful presence that it's actually also coming towards you, not just you towards it. It's an incredibly powerful element that is always in motion, and it tells you that it's so powerful that human beings can really do nothing. You know, if you find yourself in a situation in which you're facing the ocean, there's nothing you can do. It's just too powerful and too big and vast. But it's also really silent in the sense that the noises that you hear, obviously the waves crashing, etc., these are noises that feel like they are part of the environment and not noises that are coming from outside of that. And so I like that there is this sense. So even though this card is really busy, for example, it's just the Star card, which is very unusual, I would have to say. The Star card. So it would be very interesting to see. Let me just have a quick look at the Star card here, because it is one card that I'm really attached to. Obviously, it's the card that symbolizes or is associated with the astrological sign of Aquarius, which is my sign. So it says here, bright ideas, dreaming, optimism, faith. Lack of inspiration as a reversed, feeling lost of stuck, unmotivated, zodiac sign Aquarius, imagery and symbolism. The star represents a time when we are dreaming beyond what we imagine to be possible. It's about dreaming beyond borders. For that reason, the star is typically suggestive of our large-scale dreams. That's really interesting, because it's not necessarily something I associate the Star card to. I do associate that with hope, but hope is not something that is bigger than my dreams. I don't know. In a deck based on the mysticism of the sea and the sailors that attempt to navigate it, I thought buried treasure was the perfect symbol for the star. What bigger hope for a sailor than the treasure supposedly resting somewhere within the sea? Treasure spurs their motivation and gives them hope that their months-long travels will lead to something good. It gives them something to have faith in, something that, whether possible or not, seems possible, and that's good enough. Okay, I like that sense of driving them to go places, driving pirates, driving someone who's seeking out for a treasure to go places, and believe that they can achieve something even when it feels like it's impossible. I do associate that with the Star card, so I'm okay with it. The representation was a bit, judgment. Oh, wow, okay. Walking the plank, why? It doesn't always have to be this, I look at the judgment card, and for me it's a very neutral card. It depends on who you're reading for. Okay, sorry, let me just have it. I'm not going to check the guidebook for each and every card that I'm going to show you, obviously, but just jump to the imagery and symbolism. Judgment appears when it's time to really accept our flaws or downfalls. No, it's about being truthful with who we are. Yes, definitely. And as much as we hope to know about ourselves, this task isn't always as easy as it sounds. Absolutely. Sometimes the self-acceptance can be a rude, exposed, and brutal awakening that supersedes any other experience. For Tempest, I knew the perfect way to display this kind of self-revelation. A man walking the plank is an exposed acceptance of previous wrongdoings. That's exactly how a judgment moment can feel. It can feel like you're totally naked in front of 1,000 onlookers. But part of its experience is to encourage transformation, moving you into a brand new chapter. Okay. I really get the intention behind it. I don't know whether it's something that I will always have a little bit to say about how I personally read these cards when I look at them. I feel like the Judgment card is a neutral card in the sense that sometimes it's definitely about, you know, knowing that there is the final judgment day, and so you have to reckon with what you've done, absolutely. But at the same time, it can actually be very liberating. It can be a card that prospects freedom from any kind of chains. So it is neutral. I just read it depending on what other cards are around it, and I do use it as a warning, of course. By the way, I'm looking through the suit of wands. It is rather pippish, but I'm okay with that. And then we go from a pippish card to a non-pippish card, which is absolutely fine. It's not entirely, it's not pips, it's pippish. But then again, in this case, for example, it's a Nine of Wands, and there's a full sun here, and you know, the binoculars, and I don't know. The Ten of Wands is scenic, of course, and we're looking at the core cards now. So I will read the Judgment card depending on the cards that are around it, of course, and also depending on the prompts of the spread that I'm using, or even the question. The Two of Cups, that's really nice. The giblets are called giblets, with the water sloshing out and creating the shape of a heart. So the Three of Cups, Four of Cups. So let me just go ahead and see the Five of Cups, Eight of Cups. That's a really beautiful Eight of Cups. I actually really like it. I really like this one, because you're leaving something behind that may be broken, but it's broken to you. So even when it's not necessarily broken per se, it is a situation that is no longer serving you and you're just leaving it behind. So I really like this initiative of showing it like the debris that a boat leaves behind it when it's just moving on. And the court cards, and then we're moving on to the Suit of Swords, which is the suit that I always look at because it is the most important suit for me, the one that really resonates with me, and I always want to see whether I'm going to like it or not in a deck. So let's have a look at the Three of Swords. Okay, at least it's not a heart that has been pierced by 3 swords. It's okay, I'm okay with this. There is a little bit of blood, which is fine. You know, you're still shedding blood when it's the overwhelm of the mind. I'm fine with it. The Four of Swords look like a Six of Swords to me, but then it is a nautical theme, so maybe it's not necessarily. There's boats and there's water in each and every one of the cards, so it's not necessarily just the Six of Swords. The Five of Swords is, I like that, because it shows you the unfair advantage of one of the ships being hit by a cannonball, so obviously that's the unfair advantage. And oh, I like the Six of Swords. I like the Six of Swords because this one gives me an additional layer of interpretation of this card, which is a card that I always like to meditate on. So basically what I say whenever I talk about this card, I say that you can actually look ahead and you can see that you're moving. It's a very difficult journey you're embarked upon, and you didn't necessarily want to be doing this. But you can look ahead and you will see that the shore that is waiting for you is really beautiful, and it shows you blue skies. There's, you know, peaceful happenings in front of you. But in this case, you can't really see it, because if you're inside a cave with such a narrow opening, you cannot really see ahead. It's also because there might be the sun that is blocking your view. So the sense of dread that you have when you embark upon this boat is even probably duplicated because of this impossibility of looking ahead and knowing that it's going to be okay eventually. So I really like this. Seven of Swords, double face. I really like this. Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, So I thought I was kind of on the fence about this deck, but I kind of like it now. And it's because it's representing the cards in such a way that it makes me think, or it challenges me, which is always something that I really appreciate. So yeah, I like that. And the darkness approaching with the Nine of Swords and typical Ten of Swords, which is fine. Let me just have a quick look at the Queen of Swords, which is my significator. Oh, I love her. Oh, she's beautiful. Okay, I love her. Yeah, really nice, really beautiful. I love the hair. My hair looks exactly like that when I'm swimming. When I'm underwater, if I'm diving, for example, it looks exactly like that. Although I have to say that in order not to have to brush you for like 3 hours afterwards, I always do some braids on my hair, because otherwise it's just a disaster. But I really love this card. I love that she's wearing glasses. Well, look at that. And the King of Swords as well. It might be something related to the fact that this is the suit of the mind, the glasses, obviously. And then moving on to the Suit of Pentacles. Let's see, the Six of Pentacles, that's okay. Eight of Pentacles, really beautiful, but what is the difference with the Seven of Pentacles? Okay, they're not the same card. They do offer you a different way of reading them. So it looks like this ship is stalled because the sails are not open, so they might be just floating for the time being, which is something that I do associate with the Seven of Pentacles. And then, they're mapping, they're charting that voyage on the Eight of Pentacles. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, really beautiful Ten of Pentacles. It looks almost as if it were a positive version of the Seven of Cups, so really interesting. And the King of Pentacles. Okay, when it comes to everything else, this is your typical US games, card stock, everything related to what we know very, very well. I love, by the way, these Lovers cards. So I am just going to go on because the sun is really becoming a bit of a problem here. So there is one more deck that I wanted to show you today, and this is completely new. You can get it now, it is available, but I was probably one of the first ones to just grab a copy. And this is with my own money, because I don't get sent decks by Rockpool. This is the Enchanted Earth Oracle by Jessica LaHood, illustrated by Amanda Clark. Now, if you have been watching my channel for any length of time, you will know that Amanda Clark is one of my favorite artists. I follow her Instagram account. I have another one of her decks, or at least decks that she has illustrated, and it's called the Earth Angels Messages cards, which is really, really beautiful. And it's one of those decks that has an image on the front and then let's say an affirmation on the back. So I don't necessarily use it together with other decks, even though it does pair up really nicely with the Tarot Landscapes. But I do use it because it is part of my practice. This is the Enchanted Earth, so it is written by Jessica and illustrated by Amanda. I'm very, very curious to see. It is one of those deluxe boxes that opens this way. I have to say they've done a fantastic job. And again, I apologize because of the sun, but it is what it is, because honestly, and it's my voice, I don't know if you can tell, but my voice is really on the brink of disappearing. So it's going to be interesting. But so we've got, as usual, a really nice booklet with a full page. And let me tell you, when it's such an inspiring artwork, such as Amanda's artwork, I really, really like this possibility to see the cards even bigger, in a bigger format like this. And then for each and every card we got here, the what I assume is the title, follow the leader, the keywords, influence, inspire, collective healing. And then we got an affirmation, when I improve my own life, I create a ripple effect of healing. Fantastic. Yeah, great, absolutely great. And let's have a look at the actual cards. So does it say how many cards there are? 36 cards. Okay, I'm not going to say anything, because it feels like we say this over and over again. The belly band has an illustration as well, which is a first. I've never seen this before, and I really, really like it. I've never seen it on a mass market deck. I may have seen it on an indie deck, but I really like that. So I'm not going to throw it away like I usually do. And the gilding is holographic. I don't know if you can tell. Really nice. You can see the colors of the rainbows if the light reflects on it. So let me see how best can I do this. Maybe like this, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, what was I saying? Okay, I'm not going to say anything about the number of cards. You guys know that it is a common, it's common consensus within the tarot community that we need at least 44 cards when it comes to an oracle deck. 36, 32, Scarabeo, that's 32, 33. 36 is not enough. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but if, you know, it can really raise the question, okay, well, are you pricing this deck at the same price point as a 44 card deck? Because, you know, we're talking about 8 cards less. And I don't think that, I don't know whether it's difficult for a contract of view. I have absolutely no idea. I'm not a publisher, obviously. But if you work so hard and you produce 36 cards, if you listen to the tarot community and everyone is saying that 44 will be best, please, why not make it to 44? And I'm not saying anything about the creators or the illustrators. I really don't think that it's them. I think that, you know, it's probably the publisher, but again, I have no idea. And maybe it was a smaller project and maybe they just wanted to make 36 and maybe there's a reason behind that. Not that I can see for now, but then again, this is a first impression. And I haven't seen this deck in any other channel because it is completely new. Buried within, trusting intuition, dreams. Blessings, renewal, grace, gentleness. Guardian with guidance, support and nurturing. New dawn, death, rebirth, grief. That's a really beautiful card. Come as you are, authenticity, individuality, uniqueness, take flight, transformation, exploration, adventure. You know, I love these images so much. The artwork is so. Let me just try and explain this. It feels like it's an enchanted world, and yes, it is called the Enchanted Earth. It feels like it's a dreamy kind of world. It feels like everything is suspended in time and just depicted. You know, it's almost as if it were a snapshot of a moment in time. I love that there's always these hairs that are jumping in and out of the frame on the background. I love the gentleness of the line work. I love the choice of the color palette. These are actually quite brilliant. I don't know if you can tell, but these are quite very beautiful, brilliant kind of greens and purples and blues, which is obviously my favorite association of colors. And I feel like the image actually, they reflect really well on the titles or keywords that have been associated to them onwards. Release, shame, and hope. Absolutely gorgeous card. Really, really gorgeous. And by the way, I don't know, let me just see if I can show you, but I'm not entirely sure that you can see through the lens. You can tell that this is a painting. From the texture of the canvas, I don't know, can you see the texture? I hope you can, but I assure you, maybe here, no, it's fine. You have to believe me on my word on this one, but you can tell that it's a painting on a canvas. You can tell the texture. Follow the leader, influence, inspire, collective healing. You are the earth. Mirrors, wow, look at this card, amazing. Reflections, empathy, understanding. That is so beautiful because the two creatures are actually looking at each other. And I really love that. There is, again, you can feel the enchantment or the enchanted vibes thanks to the snapshot. This is definitely, you know, this owl, if it is an owl, it's a bird, is frozen in time. And I really like that it is presented this way because there is a certain dignity to it. Something that is frozen in time is something that is forever. So really beautiful, very evocative, I have to say as well. There's only, you know, owls and foxes and deers and basically that's all the animal, and unicorns, well, hello. But basically that's and hares. These are all the animals that you can see here, and I really like it. I like this. Really love this deck. Changing winds, adaptable, self-awareness, decisions. And that was the last one because it was card number 36. Really excited about this deck. I still feel like it would probably pair well again with the Tarot Landscapes, and I'm planning on doing some kind of pairings also with Amanda's other deck, the Earth Angels message cards and the Tarot Landscape and this one. And so we'll see if it's something that works or not. But for now, these are my new decks, and let me know which new decks have you got in your collection lately. If you have one of these decks, does it resonate with you? Do you use it in a very specific way? I'm always very interested in hearing your opinion. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!